The following episode of the Kingdom of Isolation contains footage from the film being discussed. The footage is used solely for the purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support the animators by watching this film on Disney Plus or home media where available. This episode also contains spoilers throughout.
Hello my fellow Disney fans and welcome to the Kingdom of Isolation, where in times of trouble, why not celebrate the magic of Disney? I'm Kenzie Retro, and today we're heading back to Pixie Hollow for Tinkerbell and the Secret of the Wings, which released in 2012. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, hang on, you're not saying direct to DVD anymore. This had a much wider theatrical release. Some territories still released it direct to video, direct to DVD, but a lot more territories released this theatrically, and we'll get into why in just a moment. So this is a film that did something bold. It expanded the world, doubled the fairies, and finally asked the question, what's beyond the border? So far, the Tinkerbell films have quietly overperformed, mainly on the home media market and with how well they were received critically. Richer world building, stronger emotion, and way more hard than anyone expected from a direct-to-video series. Which brings us to the big question, can Disney make this 4 from 4? Does Secret of the Wings keep the string alive? Or does the magic finally start to fade? Let's cross the border and let's find out. Now, this was intended as a straight-to-video release, and instead, the film was given a theatrical release instead when the Disney company noticed a window where there wasn't much competition for a young, child-friendly cinema release. The film actually did pretty well as a result, especially at weekends, and was still playing matinee showings weeks later. And the film itself, the release date for this film was in the August of 2012, and it was that would have been just a few weeks. That would have been just a few weeks after Brave had come out. So everyone would have likely seen Brave by that point, and there wasn't really anything else for this film to go up against. So, smart call. It would end up proving to be very fruitful at the box office, but we'll get to that in the legacy portion of the scores at the end of the episode. So, the film, in the sneak peek on the previous Tinkerbell installment, the film was under the title of Tinkerbell and the Mysterious Winter Woods. I think Secret of the Wings works better. Now, most of the names that we know from the previous entries are back once more. So we've got Mae Whitman, Jeff Bennett, Lucy Liu, Raven Simone, Pamela Adlon, Angela Bartis, Rob Paulson, Jane Horrocks, John DiMaggio, Jess McCartney, and of course, the legendary Angela Houston, who provides the opening narration this time around. And guess who's back with the music? Yep, it's Joel McNeely once again, and oh my word, he is still cooking!
If you had wings to lift you, and the second star your guide, you'd find a place where all the seasons flourish, side by side.
We don't waste any time getting back to Pixie Hollow and getting our first song of the film. We'll be there. And this was performed by Thea Medja on the soundtrack, which got released alongside some of the previous songs from the Tinkerbell franchise, and again we'll get into that in the legacy portion in the scores later. But I thought I'd bring it up. I'd bring some of it up here just now, so it's out. So part of it is out of the way. So Thea Medja performed this particular track on the soundtrack of the movie, whereas in the movie itself, it's Sydney Sierrotta from Echosmith. The songs this time around are written by Brendan Milburn and Valerie Vigoda from Groove Lily.
Look sharp, everyone! The snowy owls will soon be arriving to take the snowflake baskets to the winter woods.
Honestly, this is the fourth film on the road that's had a $30 to $35 million budget, and somehow the film looks even more polished than when this franchise started back in 2008. How is this possible? Disney, we need to know, how are you doing this? The Tinkers are making snow baskets for the snowy owls to take to the winter woods. And the snowy owls deliver these baskets, and a final order comes through for 20 more baskets to be made. For the next day, no pressure. Doesn't help when there's a runaway buddy trying to ruin all the hard work as well. Tinkerbell tries to help, but that buddy shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon.
Wow.
And we are now right on the border of the winter woods. The rabbit is scared about crossing over, but Tinkerbell questions why even the animal fairies don't head over into the winter woods.
Tink, it's freezing over there. Besides, no warm fairies are allowed in the winter woods, just like winter fairies aren't allowed over here.
One of the name, now there is a name that was that comes up here, who is the new voice of Rosetta after she took over from Kristen Chenoweth, and that being Megan Hilty, who has a very, very vast resume for not just her stage, but also her television appearances. So, her stage credits include being Glinda in a couple of productions of Wicked. She was Dorothy Rhodes in the 95 musical. She was even Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors. On the film side of things, she would continue to voice Rosetta until the end of the film's until the end of their franchise. She's been in episodes of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Phineas and Ferb, American Dad, Penguins of Madagascar. She even voiced Rosetta in the Pixie Hollow games in 2011. She's been in episodes of Robot Chicken, Family Guy. What else has she been in? Yeah, she's been pretty busy. So, yeah. I think they made a great choice with casting another stage star to fill the big shoes of Kristen Chenoweth, and that cannot be easy, filling those sort of shoes, especially when Kristen Chenoweth was the original Glinda in the original Broadway cast of Wicked, alongside Idina Menzel, who was Elphaba.
Tink, it's freezing over there. Besides, no warm fairies are allowed in the winter woods, just like winter fairies aren't allowed over here.
The rules were made supposedly by the Winter Lord, Lord Milori, who we'll meet later. Now, the seamless transition to white fur is really well executed. The rabbits then get their winter coats, and they look so cute. They look so cute and fluffy. I want one of them. They're so cute and fluffy. With their white fur, with the last rabbit having a bit of fun before crossing over. Tink then crosses over herself, despite the cold, takes it all in, and her wings start sparkling, and we can hear some baby laughs before she's pulled out. Those baby laughs become important later. Time to go see the Healing Fairy, who's voiced by Disney legend Jodie Benson. Where we're told rainbow collisions and snapdragons are not emergencies. Tink's wings are fine. She's given 2 sunflower seeds to take and to go back to the Healing Fairy if there are any more problems.
Huh? Hey, someone's been eating the books. Ugh, bookworms.
Literal bookworms. Absolutely. Oh, that's adorable. Tink then finds the book on wings, which then starts flying away from her. She's then told to see the keeper, she has to cross to the winter woods. She heads back home to make winter attire, and Joel once again delivers with the music here. She makes it back over to the winter woods, where we get treated to some amazing landscapes and sweeping shots of the winter realm of Pixie Hollow. Tink ends up almost falling out of her basket, but thankfully, she's okay. The Lord of Winter, Lord Mallory, is voiced by Timothy Dalton, who's made a previous appearance in The Kingdom of Isolation as the toy hedgehog Prickles, I think his name is. Mr. Prickles, I think. Mr. Pricklepants, that's who it is. Mr. Pricklepants in the Toy Story franchise. And you can hear my thoughts on the Toy Story franchise so far in the top right of your screen in the Kingdom of Isolation playlist, which has all the Disney films, all the Pixar films, all the Disney Toon Studios films so far, all the specials, all the anniversary episodes. Every episode of the Kingdom of Isolation is in that playlist. And we've got over 150 for you to indulge yourself in. So have fun. Tink then goes to follow the fairy that was with, that's off to meet Dewey, who is the name of the keeper. And when Tinkerbell climbs the book, now earlier when Tinkerbell climbs the bookshelves, and I can't believe I didn't spot this, but hey, that sometimes it happens. When she looks down, the mushroom table and chairs are in the trademark Mickey Mouse shape. So there's your hidden Mickey. Oh boy. Now, Tink's wings light up again, and we're then introduced to Periwinkle, who is voiced by Lucy Hale, and she's best known for not only being in Pretty Little Liars, and but she's also been in Scream 4, part of my favorite film, part of my favorite horror franchise, next to Nightmare on Elm Street. But you gotta have the classics in there. You gotta have Nightmare on Elm Street in there as an 80s classic. But for me, my favorite horror franchise is always going to be Scream. I'm really curious as to what they're going to do with the new Scream film, which is set to come out next year. One thing's for certain, I'm definitely going to be there. So the music here is just beautiful, and it's soon revealed that Periwinkle is Tinkerbell's twin sister. Anna Sophia Robb was originally cast in the role for Periwinkle before Lucy Hale took over. The lighting in this moment is just incredible as the girls bring their wings to light, connecting them and show how they were both born from the same baby's laugh, leading to them both being separated when they were born. And minus the color of the hair, minus the dresses, they are basically identical down to the wings.
Oh boy. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
May or may not be foreshadowing what's to come. They spend time getting to know each other while we get the next song, The Great Divide, which is performed by the McLean sisters. Now let's meet the rest of Periwinkle's friends. Debbie Ryan voices Spike. Grey Dillisle's back in this franchise, and she's voicing Bliss this time around. Benjamin voices Slush, and Matt Lanter voices Sled. Perry's friends show her around, and the sisters are having a blast together. Perry wants to be in Tink's home and Tinkerbell encourages her to cross with her. The ice they're on breaks, and a lynx manages to save them both. Dewey says Tink has to go home, meaning the sisters can't stay together. Tink wants Perry to meet her at the crossover the next day before going to see Bobble and Clank. And gets caught in a net. She then tells her friends about Perry before they start tinkering something for the next day. The snow machine works, and Perry crosses over with some beautiful music, welcoming Perry into the warm seasons of Pixie Hollow. While one of the snowy owls sees what's happening and reports back to Lord Mallory. How long is that ice going to last, though? That's the question. Perry then meets Tink's friends.
Yeah, a little fairy to fairy advice. Tink can be a bit tricky to get along with at times.
Yeah, look who's talking.
Hello, Pot. This is the kettle.
Oh, the snowmaker! Oh, it's running out of ice!
And there's the answer to my earlier question. Not very. They wrap her wings, make it to the border while Lord Mallory is waiting, and thankfully Perry is okay.
This is why we do not cross the border.
Unfortunately, they're not allowed to see each other again, which absolutely sucks, and it is a heartbreaking moment between the two. They just met like 2 days ago. Queen Clarion then makes Tink aware that the rule wasn't Lord Mallory's idea. It was actually her idea. The sisters hug, and their wings sparkle together one last time before they go their separate ways. The Snowmaker is sent down the river, only to start shaving the ice that starts collecting behind that machine, causing endless snow to be created and start affecting Pixie Hollow with a blizzard. Mallory and Clarion share a story with Perry and Tink, respectively, of how two fairies fell in love, with one of them being a winter fairy.
One of them broke a wing, for which there is no cure.
Could this be foreshadowing what happens shortly? Everyone manages to free the machine, only to see the frost start to spread. Now it's a race against time to save the pixie dust tree and the rest of Pixie Hollow. Back with Perry, their pixie dust tree has issues, and Perry and her friends join forces with Tink to save the tree. Only issue there is the freeze is spreading so fast, so they don't have much time left. The frost is then used to protect the tree, but it looks like they're out of time. But reinforcements have arrived to help save the day and the rest of the seasons. Now we just have to wait and hope everyone and everything's going to be okay. We get a massive plot twist reveal that Clarion and Mallory were the fairies in the story that we heard earlier, with Mallory being the fairy that had their wing broken. The freeze covers the trees and the rest of Pixie Hollow, and now we wait. Everyone gathers together later to see that all of their work was a success. Honestly, I'm a sucker for this sort of happy ending music. Tinkerbell then reveals her wing has broken, meaning she can't fly anymore. But hang on, we've still got 2 films left in the franchise. How are we gonna have her with the next 2 adventures if she can't fly anymore? Now look, earlier we were told there was no cure, but surely there has to be something, right? Turns out there is. Mallory and Clarion let Tink and Perry be together because of their identical wings. Tink's wing is fixed, and their combined magic allows her to fly again. Pixie Hollow has been saved, and the Winter Fairy's frost warms. The Winter Fairies at the border frost the Warm Fairy's wings, allowing them to visit the Winter Woods. Rosetta falls in love with Sled almost immediately, and we get a shower of periwinkles while the Great Divide plays over the end credits to end the film. So before we get into the scores, Tinkerbell and the Secret of the Wings is the moment the franchise fully embraces scale, emotion, and mythology. What began as a modest direct-to-video experiment evolves here into something richer and more confident, expanding Pixie Hollow both literally and thematically. By crossing the border into the Winter Woods, the film doesn't just introduce a new setting, it unlocks long-buried history, emotional stakes, and some of the most memorable imagery in the entire series. And the scores? Here we go. The story, I'm going to give a 9 here. The story is the film's backbone, smartly using the mystery of the Winter Woods to deepen the lore. The reveal of Tinkerbell's origins and her connection to Periwinkle is handled with genuine care, while the added backstory involving Queen Clarion and Lord Mallory gives weight to the long-standing rules that once felt arbitrary. The narrative balances wonder and consequence well, and while familiar beats remain, the emotional payoff makes the journey more than worthwhile. The characters, I'm going to give a 10. This is Tinkerbell at her strongest. Curious, stubborn, compassionate, and flawed. She feels fully realized here, especially through her relationship with Periwinkle. Their bond is instant but believable, enhanced by the idea that they were separated at birth by forces beyond their control. Periwinkle herself is a standout addition, more than just a mirror of Tink. She brings warmth, innocence, and quiet resilience. Even Queen Clarion benefits from added depth, reframing past decisions through regret rather than authority. The visuals, I've got to give another 10 here. The winter woods are breathtaking, from the sparkling frost to sweeping icy landscapes. The film somehow looks even more polished than the earlier entries, despite a similar $30 to $35 million budget. Again, how is this possible? The contrast between Pixie Hollow and the Winter Woods is beautifully realized, and the details like wing effects, lighting, and environmental transitions elevate the animation to near theatrical quality. It's easily one of the most visually striking films Disney Toon Studios have ever produced. The soundtrack, I'm going to give another 10 because Joel McNeely continues his winning streak with what might be his finest score in the franchise. The music enhances every emotional beat, from discovery and heartbreak to reunion and triumph. Combined with the songs like We'll Be There and The Great Divide, the soundtrack carries a sense of magic and melancholy that perfectly suits the story. McNeely's work once again proves how essential his music is to the identity of these films. When the soundtrack for this film released under the title Disney Fairies, Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust, we also got the first commercial release from one Sabrina Carpenter at just 13 years old when she released the song Smile. How about that? And now, here she is, one of the biggest stars in the world, next to one Tate McRae. So yeah, the women are ruling the world of music right now. And I'm absolutely okay with that. Who else am I missing to complete that trifles? Oh yes! Huntrix, K-pop Demon Hunters! We'll worry about them later down the road. Yes, I'm going to do a Kingdom of Isolation style episode on K-pop Demon Hunters on my passes page, which you can find at the top of the description. But finally, we get the Legacy, which is the weakest portion of the scores for this film. But that's not to detract from the Legacy at all. So here we go. We get a 7.5 with the Legacy. And despite its strengths, Secret of the Wings holds the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score in the franchise at just 62%, barely above the fresh threshold of 60%. It's a number that feels oddly disconnected from its fan reception, which I believe was higher than the critical reception. And we're just going to get back to this now. The score from the audience, 78%. 78% from the audience. So, yeah, that's, it is, there is a bit of a disconnect there. So, sometimes audiences prefer what the critics don't, and vice versa, really. Financially, however, the film performed well, earning $67.5 million worldwide against its modest budget. It also got 2 Annie Award nominations for music and editing, further cement its quality, even if it did ultimately lose to Wreck-It Ralph for the music and Brave for the editing. While not universally celebrated, its influence on the franchise is definitely undeniable. The overall score, we're going to be sitting at 93%, the same score as Simba's Pride, but I'm going to put Simba's Pride above Secret of the Wings here. So, Tinkerbell and the Secret of the Wings is where the series stops playing it safe and starts aiming higher. It delivers emotional depth, stunning visuals, and meaningful expansion of its world, proving that this franchise was capable of far more than it was given credit for. Even with a slightly weaker critical legacy, this remains one of the most accomplished and heartfelt entries in the Tinkerbell saga. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's 4 from 4 from Disney. Can they make it 5 from 5? We'll find out soon enough. So yes, this one is definitely getting recommended, because if you're a fan of this franchise, and I can honestly say, at 32 years old, yes, I'm a fan of this franchise now. 4 films from 4. Can we make it 5 with the Pirate Fairy? We'll need to tune in for that episode to find out. So that is it for this episode of the Kingdom of Isolation. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to be part of the Kingdom of Isolation yourself, you can hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. Click the bell, turn on notifications so you don't miss when an episode goes live on this channel. As I mentioned, I'm going to have my passes page having a Kingdom of Isolation style episode on one of the biggest hits of this year, K-pop Demon Hunters, because I don't dare use the soundtrack on YouTube because copyright. And I'm also going to have extended and uncut episodes on the Kingdom of Isolation on my passes page as well. And that's where we're going to have not just I'm going to have the Frozen 2 documentary of Into the Unknown. I'm going to have an episode on that on here, and that is going to be combined with bear with me, combined with my Frozen 2 episode to make an extended episode that combines discussing the movie plus the behind-the-scenes documentary on my passes page, but that will come in due course. So, that being said, the next episode, we're going to be starting another spin-off franchise, a spin-off to Cars, as we look at planes. But until then, make each moment count, and I'll see you guys next time in the Kingdom of Isolation.